welcome to today's tutorial, which is what is Vinyasa? Or what does the term Vinyasa mean in a class? And it is kind of thrown about quite a bit, this term, and lots of different terms are thrown around in classes that we never really know the full answer to. And to be honest with you, a lot of them have a few different meanings, and it's sort of up for interpretation. Vinyasa flow yoga, it doesn't really have many rules. So whereas you'll go into like an Ashtanga class or an Iyengar class and there are set sequences that we must keep to as teachers, Vinyasa flow, as a teacher, you're kind of given full rein to make up a sequence, to be creative and weave things in and out of one another, which is why definitely I've been attracted to that, because it lets me tap into my more sort of dancey background and enjoy expressing myself through movement, which is what I've always done since I was born. So Vinyasa, the symbol that we use to sort of show Vinyasa, like almost in like a hieroglyphic way, is the infinity symbol. So it's like a sideways 8. And in a way, it's just like this never-ending movement. There is no real stop point. There's no beginning, there's no end, which I really love, because what that really means is that your breath, which is the most constant part of your practice, it's the anchor of your practice, constantly moves and will affect how it is that you then physically move your body. It's that dance of those two important parts of yourself, which is amazing, right? We keep moving, we keep breathing. If we keep breathing, we keep moving. And it's a blessing to be able to do both of those things at the same time. So it's always a nice reminder to come back into the fact that we are so privileged to be able to do those two things. Oh, isn't that amazing? Now, when you go into a class and they just say, now Vinyasa through, I will go through a couple of different examples of what that means and what it is that we can do, so that if you're in a class, you're not suddenly just trying to look like everybody else. So it is a personal transition, and that's what it is. It's a transition between movements. Vinyasa, broken down into English, means to place in a special way. So when you think about to place something in a special way, it's unique, it's individual, it's authentic. How does your body move in a special way? How are you going to place yourself around this mat in a way that speaks your truth? So I want you to always bear that in mind when you come into a yoga class. It's about truth. It's about awareness. It's about acceptance. And that's a beautiful thing. So before you go into judging yourself or anybody else for any of their stuff going on in their mat, always look for the beauty, right? Don't judge, go for the beauty. And they're transitioning the way that they must do for themselves. However, we're going to go technical. We're going to go technical with these little things. To Vinyasa, between sequences, between postures, traditionally, in a way, we kind of usually work through high plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. So I'll go through that. I'll add a couple of modifications, and then also a couple of things that I have just adopted into my practice through the years of study and training and influence from other people, that I think are really lovely little vinyasas to take. So if you bring yourself into a warrior 2, let's go whatever leg forward, doesn't matter, whatever leg back. And you find yourself in this nice warrior 2, you're deep in the front leg, grounded through the feet. Open the arms out wide and look over your front middle finger. If we wanted to straight away kind of vinyasa through from this pose, we'd probably windmill the arms forward over the front leg, pivot up onto the back tiptoe so it's more of a lunge, and then step your front foot back into high plank. Now, I pretty much always do an inhale before I go anywhere else in this high plank, because as you exhale into a chaturanga, it's better to take that move down with the release of breath. So take a big breath into this high plank. Let's keep the knees off the floor to begin with. This is what like this full expression would be. Exhale, bend your elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, squeeze your bum. Exhale, tuck the toes, press back into downward facing dog. And then you may go on to the other side. You may come down into a child's pose. To modify that movement, you can come into a high plank, straight away, lower the knees. Exhale, chaturanga, hug the elbows in. You may then want to go onto your belly into a cobra as you inhale, lift up. Exhale, tuck the toes, push back, downward facing dog, or you can bend your knees, push the floor away more into like a tiger dog, which I do in my classes quite a lot. Bent knee, downward facing dog. So that's the modified version of the first version that we just did. But really, however it is that you want to transition between your sequences and between your poses is kind of up to you. If you do not want to go through a chaturanga for whatever reason, you're working with any injuries, then please have the autonomy to take hold of that. What I found to be a very lovely transition is to simply ripple forward into high plank and ripple back into downward facing dog like a wave. My teacher, Siana Sherman, calls it Shakti wave. Shakti is the feminine goddess. She's the divine feminine, which lives within us all. We've all got a masculine, we've all got a feminine energy. And this feminine energy, the Shakti, is like that sort of rounded, nurturing, mothering, almost kind of all-encompassing, wholesome movement. And that's what that roundness, connecting to the breath, and it almost looks like you're actually drawing the Vinyasa symbol itself, which I think is really nice and pretty. So if you were going to take that, you could windmill the arms forward from your warrior two, step back into downward facing dog, legs squeeze a bit closer together. Inhale, rise up onto the tiptoes, articulate your spine, ripple forward, chest over the hands. Exhale, bend your knees, ripple it back into downward facing dog. I've got to say, this is one of my favorite moves ever. Inhale, ripple forward. Exhale, bend your knees, ripple back. Anytime you feel like the breath is kind of run away from you a bit, then bring it back into this. What's nice about this movement, and we can keep going through this for a few more breaths, is when you inhale forward, it's like you're trying to protract the shoulder blades. You want to make some space between them. You kind of tuck your tailbone very slightly, so draw the hips further up towards your ribs in a way. You're trying to close off that space a touch. And then when you press it back into downward facing dog, you tilt your tailbone up, bend your knees, and make some space to press back into down dog. And then when you're ready, bring it down into child's pose, rest your bum to your heels, turn your palms up towards the sky, and rest down. And you know what? You may want to just take that movement with your knees down at any point. If you don't want to be as muscular in a way, if you're really taking care of your energy or of your body with any injuries, then we can adjust that Shakti wave to be down on your knees. So that's pretty much everything I'm going to say about what a Vinyasa is. High plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Modify it with the knees on the floor, go through a cobra and then back into downward facing dog, or Shakti waves with or without the knees on the floor. It's kind of, remember, that's that weaving, that constant movement with your breath. The breath is the anchor, it's always there. And with that breath will come movement. And with movement will become shifting of energy, that, you know, stagnant feelings. And really that's Vinyasa. Yeah, I'm going to end it there. Let me know if you caught anything from what I've just said. Of course, it's always up for interpretation. Never stop learning, never stop hearing other people's ideas and opinions, and it's fascinating, right? So that's it. Namaste. Thank you for listening.